So the mental hand practice, there's a mental hand practice. You get a thought coming into your mind. Now don't forget, thoughts are things, and they really exist. And the brain is not the source of all mind, it's a receiving set. You see it as being like a radio receiver set, or Sivananda, Swami Sivananda, uses the example of a pin cushion. And he says that each thought that comes into the brain is like a pin coming into that pin cushion. Each time it comes into the cushion, it leaves an indentation, which makes it that much easier for that thought to come in again. And, you know, whereas some of the old yogis and mystics would deliberately cut themselves away to live in an environment which is pure, such as in the Himalayas or in the forest regions, wherever it might be, some isolated community where all the other people in that community were of like mind, of spiritual mind. It's a nice idea, there was a lot of sense to it. But in this day and age, which is the age of service, it's not appropriate. So those of us who live in London and elsewhere and do ordinary jobs and so forth, we're mixing and mingling with all the thought patterns of everybody. And they're going out. And they're going out on the radio, they're in advertising, they're on television, etc. And so all these thoughts are affecting us all the time. And, you know, we have to control the thoughts in our own environment, in our own consciousness. And as I say, the brain isn't a source, it's like a receiving set for thought waves. Okay? What we do is tune that receiving set to the frequency that we determine. And you can do that, even amid all the turmoil, while everybody else is listening to whatever it might be. I better not name a station because this is being filmed now, but some pretty coarse station, you can tune to something very sublime, right in the midst of that, but it takes some control. Now the mental hand practice is very simple. When you get a thought that is really not a thought you want, or it might be a recurring set of thoughts or things that you really want to get rid of, you visualize a mental hand going out, taking hold of it, and pulling it into the solar plexus center. Okay? So you visualize this mental hand, you visualize the thought out there as a thing that you want to get out. You don't want it like a pin coming back into your pin cushion, you want it out, you want it transmuted. So you pull it in, the solar plexus center, and then you visualize the white light. Visualize it coming down, or just filling the solar plexus center and transmuting it. Or if you prefer, just as good, you can visualize the violet flame coming up from the Mother Earth and transmuting it so that it disappears. You don't just leave it in your solar plexus, or you'll get mental indigestion. You transmute it, and then it's gone. And the idea then is it won't come